And here we have part 2 of our review for Marvel Transformers crossovers, Thor, the mighty Thor. As you can see, he's a very decent robot, very decent mech figure. As the box says, he's a mech um, based on Tony Stark's and Mr. Fantastic's technology. It's a decent figure to have, actually. It's a good display figure, but transformation can be a bit of a mess, and I'm not too convinced with the transformation. I think there were a lot of engineering errors, as I will point out soon, well, later on. To transform him, you have to put his limbs in transformation position. Get him ready like so. Okay, very tight joints on the limbs, which is kind of a positive for me. It's got good waist articulation, head articulation. He should look like this if you don't pose him, which is kind of lame for me because the cape is just, I don't know. It's up to you to pose the cape, and I don't like that Hasbro left it to us to pose it. I think they should have done more with the engineering. Anyway, the transformation is a little bit clumsy. I hope you bear with me. Be nice with the comments, and um, we'll see how it goes. Okay. Wrist articulation is good. I will show you some of the things that you will need to look out for when you transform him. The hammer, take him out. Okay. The first thing you want to do is fold the cape in and form the wings. So to do that, I like this part that they found a way to like fold it into like a suitcase or interlocking wings. I like that. It forms like the wings of the plane very nicely, very neat. Just lock it into place. Again, this has a lot of locking. I'm not a big fan of this type of transformation engineering, the loose joint. The Captain America figure has it, if you can see my other review. I'm not a big fan of this. I wish they would have made it into a solid joint, but they didn't. So, okay, good snapping tightness right there. I like the way that all the parts snap into place. There's no loose part out here, well, except maybe for the chest, but it's still a pretty tight fit. Okay, I tend to ramble, sorry. Okay, position the wings back, and then prepare the head for transformation by moving the feathers on his cap forward, because you have to insert it into his chest. To do that, you just lift him up, and then separate the head, and put the head in, like that. Then you form the fuselage. The instruction says, by the way, if you transform him to mech mode, that these nose cones, they fold flat, but they don't. They actually stick out. They can't fold in. It's an engineering mistake. There's a plastic molding there. So enough said. Just fold it and form the nose cone. You can form the side of the plane, like so. And then fold the arms. Oh, okay, another tip for the arms. Fold the hands in first. I like this part. It's better than the Iron Man transformation. Okay. Because the forearm is covered. Rotate. Okay. And fold in. Okay. A big tip I will say for unfolding the arms is, if you're going to transform him back to mech mode, do so by bending the forearm to pop out the joint, like so. Because if you try and pull it out like this, it'll snap it off, which I've done a few times, right, as of today. So just fold him out this way, and it snaps out very nicely. Okay, just a tip to remember. Okay, let's fold him back. And then make sure that the holes are pointing backward, because there are tabs here that the arms will connect into. Okay, just fold in very carefully. The parts of Thor that the figure that I have a lot of quality issues. Some of them tend to just pop off, like the wings. They tend to pop off a lot if you're not careful with transformation. I just tightened it by moving the snap joint apart, but I don't know with the other figures. So fold the wings into the joint, and then fold the other one as well. Okay, unfold the back part by locking it like so. Okay, fold them like that. Then fold the wings. Then you formed half of the plane. Okay. For the legs, rotate the knee pads. Oh, sorry. Just rotate the knee pads. Make sure the wings are out. Okay. Okay, like so. Fold in the feet. Push it in. Fold in the feet. Push it in. Okay. And then here's the sad part for this toy. Oh, you can unfold the wingtips, the tail wings, like that. Okay. Again, as I said, here's the sad part. Store the hammer. They had the notch here, which is ridiculously placed. I mean, you cannot fold the legs with the hammer in it. If you try and rotate it and transform him with his crotch up there, this flap will just not close because the crotch is just too big. And even if you try and live with that, you still can't fit the black pieces, because if you rotate the bottom part of the leg, and the thrusters will lock on, no doubt about it, but the tail fins, they're just in the wrong position and will not lock. So there's only one correct way to transform Thor, and it is, sorry, very tight, and it is with the crotch, the front part of the hips facing down, and the hammer slot at the back. And that's the only way you can store the hammer, and you just can't. You'll have to make do with just sticking him in when transformed. So just to transform this guy quickly, because I'm running out of time and batteries, just fold the back part of the plane flat, and attach the thrusters like so, and then it's just a matter of connecting the wing tips, the tail fins, to the appropriate tabs. Okay, and then the hammer just clumsily slides in like that, and for, I don't know, it does serve a purpose, because when you fold out the landing gear, surprise surprise, he has landing gear, and then he can balance. Sorry about that, the neighbor's dog is barking like crazy. So the hammer balances him very nicely, because if you get rid of the hammer, he just is impossible. He's just too back heavy to balance. Anyway, stay tuned for part 3 of this review.